Hi, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Thinking Society. I'm Lisa Swain, and I'm a media psychologist, very interested in polarization. So I've decided to launch the Thinking Society as something of an experiment. I know the name sounds a little elitist, but it's actually anything but that. It's grounded in the work of Sergei Moscovici, who's a social psychologist who coined the phrase to describe thinking as a social activity. He saw thinking as something that emerges out of conversation in the broadest definition of the term. So, in the spirit of Moscovici, our thinking society holds three values. They are conviction, cultural humility, and curiosity. Conviction, those things that we hold to be true, are obviously valuable. They are the basis of our world. We've thought about certain things deeply, and we've reached conclusions that are precious and meaningful to us. I don't want to just throw those out as soon as I meet someone who disagrees with me. That's understandable. It's even desirable. To do otherwise is unstable. Psychologists have a term for this. They call it skepticism. And that is a reasonable delay in withholding judgment. But in today's polarized climate, we are uncomfortably aware that while we may think we're being skeptical, we're actually being biased. Yeah, that other psychological term that we hear so often, which is the unreasonable clinging to prior convictions, the reluctance to conform to new information. But here's the thing. How do we know when we're being skeptical and when we're being biased? Because they feel the same. Who decides what's reasonable? Well, our current society has settled on agreement as the final arbiter. Who can I get to agree with me? How powerful can I get my group to be? Whether that power comes from political authority or immediate access or military might, it's the agreement that provides evidence of truth. It's the privileging of agreement that has only meant a stalemate on our forward progress. And there's a reason for this. Agreement can actually be counterproductive, even destructive. And there's lots of examples of this when opposition is actually preferred or necessary. Let's just take the car. If I want to get anywhere safely, I need a gas pedal and a brake pedal. I need opposition. If I want to pick anything up, I need a thumb and a forefinger, and they are going to be button heads. And thank God, because that's how I pick something up. Opposition is currently undervalued in our society, and yet it is intrinsically necessary for human thriving. So simple agreement with my cultural convictions is not all that in a bag of chips. So what we need is our second value, which is cultural humility. Again, conviction can be very useful. Democracy, capitalism were very progressive ideas that came out of this conviction that the individual could be trusted to act rationally. In retrospect, we may not have quite gotten that right. And even though democracy and capitalism have done a lot of really good things, a little bit of cultural humility may be appropriate to unpack the quagmire of systems that were built on a faulty conviction. And finally, this is why we need curiosity. Curiosity is what helps us measure the veracity of our convictions. Curiosity for the other's experience. It is actually a gift to me if I have someone that looks at the same thing that I'm looking at and sees something totally different. I may investigate and find out that they're just crazy. Or I may investigate and find out that they see something I would never have had access to without their lens. Either way, I don't know the veracity of my own convictions without bothering to inquire about theirs. So, thinking society, conviction, cultural humility, and curiosity. Those are the values. Grab a chair and let's get talking because we've got a lot to unpack.